What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Sistas Season 1, Episode 4, I believe we're on one. Okay, yeah. So, Tyler, where you get these actors from? I mean, I have never seen so many shows with so many people that just can't act. I don't get it. Anyway, we start this episode off where we left off last week with the lawyer. Was it Andy? Oh, Lord. I said I was going to get these names right this week. I believe that's Andy. Talking to her boyfriend's wife. And, just her talking about how she's going to stay with him. And she said, you just don't understand. Don't judge me. But when you've been with somebody, you built your life with somebody, you'll put up with some stuff. You'll accept some stuff. And she said, no, I understand. I'm not judging you. So she was like, yeah, so I'm not going to go through with the divorce. And I hope you understand. And then she leaves and Ronnie goes in the bathroom, honey, and does the worst breakdown cry I have ever seen, because she kept dry heaving and I didn't see not near bit of tear. Did y'all see a tear? I didn't see not near bit of tear, but she was I didn't see a tear come out her mouth. I mean, not her mouth, out her eyes. So then she called Karen up. Karen's down to the salon getting herself together, honey, and she can't even get words out. All she doing is crying into the phone. Karen said, I'll be right there. Let me finish up with my client. At least she finished her client. So then her boss calls her into the office, calls Andy, the lawyer, into the office, and he basically tells him that lady's not gonna go through with the divorce. Boom, boom, bomb. And she said, look, I didn't do it. I didn't tell that woman to stay with her husband. I didn't tell her to leave her husband. And he was like, that's not good. And she said, well, I get it that we want the money, but at the end of the day, are we really trying to force people to get a divorce? And he said, look, all we care about is the money, bottom line. He said, and I just need you to go home. She said, well, are you firing me? Which is the second time you've had to ask him that in 48 hours, but neither here nor there. He said, no, but it's clear that you've been crying, and I just don't want nobody to see how upset you are. Like, I need you. He said, you are being watched, and I need you to walk around here with your head held up and, with your armor on. And I feel like he's kind of looking out for her. Like, he's got a hard exterior, but I feel like he really wants to see her win. I do, and I could be wrong, but I feel like I feel like he likes her, but he did send her home. So she ended up leaving, and she ended up going down to the salon to meet up with Karen. Now, Karen gets a phone call, and it's the ice cream man, the dude she was sitting in the car eating ice cream with last week. And he said, you never called me. She said, it ain't been 24 hours. Like, I'm going to need you to chill out. He said, no, I understand that, but I really want to apologize for my behavior the other night, and I want to take you out. And she says, well, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, you're married and all that. He said, look. Don't think about it. I want to take you to this nice place. I think it's called Rendezvous. Random. Some shit. And, so they're going to go out to dinner. And so she said, well, I have been wanting to go to that spot. He said, yeah, so just come on, meet me down there. We're going to have dinner. So she agrees to go to dinner with him. And just at that moment, Ronnie comes walking in, and her and Ronnie go in the back room, and she tells Ronnie, I keep calling that woman Ronnie. I think she's Andy. But the lawyer, I think the lawyer is Andy. But she ends up telling her what happened with the wife and explaining about the ring and how she came in there with her ring on, honey. She said he proposed to me with that ring, and I forced him to go back to his wife, and I forced him into it. And I'm thinking to myself, child, I know you're not about to flip this back on you like you did something wrong. He proposed to you while he was still married. Let that sink in. Like, what? Child. But neither here nor there, honey. They in the back room, and they both decide that they're going to delete the phone numbers of their significant other, and they're going to, block them from their phone and everything. And the funny thing is, for as bad as the acting is on this show, the stuff that we see these women do are, and they might be cliche, but they're real. Like, who has not had that conversation with their best friend when they break up with a boyfriend and they're like, we're going to purge him from this phone. Especially in this day and age. We're going to block them on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever else, LinkedIn, whatever. We're going to block their phone number, delete the text message. Like, you have to purge in this day and age. You can't just, back in the day, just scratch their number out of your phone book. You got to purge, you know what I'm saying? And so it was a moment where they both decided they were going to purge at the same time and all that. Honey, and then they smoked some weed. Anyway. Down to the airport. Let me tell you something. I really don't like this character. Danny's, I really don't like this woman. Because I just think she does too much. And she does stuff that... Anyway, we're down to the airport. And Danny sees... Karen's ex-boyfriend, she sees this woman handing him a bag. Now, I just assumed that the woman bought him lunch, dinner, something, right? Danny makes her way over to the woman and goes to ask the woman, what you just give him? She was like, excuse me? What'd you just give him? Just tell me what was in the bag. She was like, I don't need to tell you that. That's our private business. But just tell me what it was. And then she threatening her, talking about something, you better be lucky we at work. She was like, what do you mean by that? So then finally she gonna say, well, I'm just trying to look out for you, because, he gave me herpes, so I'm just trying, give you the, look out for you. And she was like, I don't have to worry about none of that. He knows my uncle. And come to find out, her uncle is a pastor, and Zach, been staying at a homeless shelter since Karen put him out. And so now Danny feeling all bad or whatever. And later on, he comes up to her and is like, are you telling people that I have a STD? Like, what is wrong with you? So she ends up telling him, I know you stand at a shelter. I feel bad. Why don't you come sleep on my couch? Now, at first, it seemed like she was like being nice, saying, come sleep on my couch till you get on your feet. But then she was like, I need the money. I need half the rent. And I'm like, you ain't say nothing about paying half the rent. You said come stay with me till you get on your feet. Like, I didn't hear anything about no money, but okay, I guess there was, they ended up talking about it. And he was like, hell no, because basically he was like, no, because you don't know boundaries. I might wake up in the middle of the night and you be laying up on top of me or something. Like, nah, we ain't playing that game. And she was like, boy, stop playing. Like, you need somewhere to stay. He was like, I stay at the shelter if that mean I gotta deal with, if I don't have to deal with your crazy tail. Like, he really was like, I'd rather stay at the shelter than stay here. But eventually, he ended up coming over there, honey. And they probably gonna end up being really good roommates. But Danny is just too much. She's just over the top. Anyway, we'll get there. Her rolling up on old girl at the job was a bit much. And then we'll talk about what went down to the grocery store. We'll get there in a second. Down to the bank, honey. Old girl, Sabrina. See, I had to just go and get these names. So Sabrina's down to the job down at the bank, and she is ignoring her friend. And he was like, are you just going to ignore me all day? And she was like, huh? What? And he said, look, are you going to ask me how my date went? And she was like, And of course, he's messing with her because, of course, the date wasn't what she thinks it is. So he plays around with her a little bit about, how he was looking good and smelling good and all this other stuff. And then he proceeded to spend the whole time talking about you. He wanted to find out what he needed to do to get in good with you. And so he went on to let her know that he's not gay. He just has a lot of gay friends because his fathers are gay, and, he really is into you. And of course he tried to switch it on her, talking about something, you so judgmental. That is so homophobic, and you judgmental to assume he was gay. And she was like, didn't you tell me that he was gay? He was like, maybe not. He is a stereotype, but he has his moments where he is kind of funny. So he was like, look, you need to go on and call that man. Like, he is really feeling you, and you need to call him before he move on. And so she decides that she's going to text him, honey. And next thing you know, we see her down to the grocery store with Danny. And Danny tells her about what happened down to the airport and how old boy is sleeping in a shelter and how she invited him to come sleep on her couch. And Sabrina told her, no ma'am, no sir, no ma'am. Like, that is a recipe for disaster. Why would you invite that man to come and sleep on your couch? Like, it's not a good look, you know. And she said, well, I'm only going to keep him there until I am able to get him and Karen back together, because I really think that, you know, we need to get them back together. Sabrina was like, that's just not a good idea. Now, my thing is, it's not a good idea for a lot of reasons, but at the very least, you need to call Karen and tell Karen that you didn't invite this man to come and stay at your house, whether he's sleeping on the couch or not. It just ain't a good look. Then while they're shopping, they end up running into some dude that I guess Danny had a booty call with at some point in time, and she gets to questioning him. He's with another woman. She didn't call the woman, she didn't call her a thot, but basically called her out her name, and the woman was like, excuse me, and it was just ridiculous. And then she ends up chasing the man out the store, talking about some, you know, he said, you know, we're not in a relationship. She was like, well, you ain't had no problem rolling up for a booty call. He was like, that was like 6 months ago. Whatever, you know, you still miss this. I was like, it was just extra. Like, that whole part of the scene with Danny it was extra. And then her literally chasing that man out the store. I just can't. I cannot. Now, Karen ends up going out to dinner with the ice cream man. And they're at dinner, and, you know, she talks about how her feet hurt. And, I'm sorry, rewind. Sabrina ends up letting Danny know that she's cooking dinner for old boy and that he's not gay, that they got everything cleared up, and that she's cooking dinner for him. Okay, I forgot that part. Okay. Now, they end up, like I said, back down to the restaurant with Karen and the ice cream man. And he asked her, he was like, she said, yeah, I've been on my feet all day. He said, oh, well, kick your feet up here, let me rub your feet. And she was like, I ain't about to give you my feet. Like, he was like, you scared to show me what them feet look like? She was like, my feet are beautiful. So she ends up, he talking about something, you gonna regret it. I mean, one day you gonna let me rub your feet, and you gonna wish you didn't pass on this opportunity. So she ends up lifting her feet up under the table, and he rubs her feet, and of course, it's, she's like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. Oh my goodness, where'd you learn this? And he said that he learned it from Thailand. He was in the Marines, and she talking about some tip. I should have known. He was like, what does that mean? And I'm thinking to the same thing. I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, it seems like she got a problem with men, all kinds of men, she got a story for every man done something wrong to her. The military, the post office, the airport, the doctor's office, the lawyer's office, like, everybody done something. She got a story. So then they get to talking about his situation with his wife and everything. And he said, I'm just done. He was like, at this point, she cheated, and I'm actually looking for, a divorce attorney. And she was like, that's what they all say. He was like, yeah, no, I'm serious. Like, if you know anybody, let me know. And she was like, well, actually, I do. I have somebody that, that you might be interested in talking to. So he was like, give me the information. So then he said something about her. She said, are you sure it's like really over? And he said, yeah. He said, she cheated. And she was like, well, how many times? He was like, one? Like, isn't that enough? And she said, but I mean, how long have y'all been married? He was like, 15 years. She said, so you just gonna throw all of that away for one indiscretion? He said, look, cheating is cheating, and I don't have the energy for it. So no, I'm done. And I'm sure in her mind she was thinking of all the time she let old Zach come back after he done cheated on her. Hell, Zach had you running down to the clinic getting STD tested, honey. I wish I would. Anyway, so, and then turned around and slept with the man, but whatever. That was episode 1, honey. That was episode 1. So, they have this good conversation and everything, and then the bill comes. And old boy hits her with the, oh shoot, I don't have my wallet. So, of course, everybody was thinking the same thing, including him. He said, nope, I am not that dude. I know you think, he's like, I'm sure you got a story about some man that stuck you with the bill. I am not him. He said, hold on. Let me just call my wife to bring me my wallet. I said, say what? So you gonna call your wife to bring you your wallet so you can pay for dinner with another woman? But you divorcing her for infidelity? Child, if y'all don't stop this mess. So then he says, no, really, like, just wait. Just wait. I'm serious. She's gonna bring it. We live right around the corner. She'll bring it. And damn if she ain't bring the daggone. Because Karen was like, look, just let me pay the bill. Like, I'm uncomfortable with this whole conversation, this whole narrative. I'm sorry, that's an inside joke. But I am uncomfortable with this whole thing. So let me just pay the bill and we can be done. And he said, nope. Because I do not want you going out here thinking that I'm one of them dudes, that I'm some no good dude that's doing you wrong. I'm not that dude. I'm going to take care of dinner. Honey, the wife bought him his wallet. I said, I ain't never, that is crazy. That's crazy. You know, he was like, I don't hate her. We just not together anymore. Like, I just don't want to be in a relationship with her anymore. So I said, you know what? If you like it, I love it. Whatever. Now, down to Sabrina's apartment. There's a story there. I don't know. Now, let me say this about Sabrina. Y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel. I have not figured out yet if Sabrina is playing quirky, a little naive, a little, like if she's playing the character like there's a backstory there that we don't quite have all the information on yet, or if that's just her acting is bad like that. I haven't figured it out. But they're sort of having this awkward, she's letting him taste the food and he's trying to lean in to kiss her, and they sort of, she does that sort of nervous thing. And again, I don't know if that's part of what she's supposed to be her character or if it just came off awkward or whatever. But it was a cute scene. Like, they're cute. He thinks that, she opened the door and he was like, baby. He bought her favorite wine because the old dude at the bank done told her what her favorite wine is. And, she likes vinyl. Oh, Lord. I thought somebody was at my door. Y'all about to run out of here. Anyway, she likes vinyl. He likes vinyl. And he likes jazz, honey. And he get the dancing and he grinding and stuff. And she was like, oh, my. But they look like they had a nice little moment, a little dinner. We never got back to them. So they'll probably pick up their little interaction next week. But we left off with them. They were drinking wine and about to eat them some dinner, honey. And they looked like they were having a good time. So we're gonna hopefully that narrative went well. Now, last but not least, honey, Ronnie. So Karen called Ronnie from the restaurant while she waiting for the wife to bring the wallet to find out if she's okay. And Andy. I keep wanting to call her Ronnie. Andy, to find out how she's doing and everything. And she said, I'm fine. I went to the gym to work out, but I'm on my way home now. Well, she was standing in front of her door, and it's all good. So she opens up the apartment door, and of course, old boy is sitting there because she said she had to get her key back from him. So she ain't get it back fast enough. Old boy Gary is sitting there on the couch waiting for her to get home, and she was like, "What the hell are you doing here?" He said, "I left her. I'm moving in." I say, what? Last night, you proposed to me, then you went home and reaffirmed your love to her. Now tonight, you done left her and you sitting in my living room talking about something, I'm moving in. No, you moving into a hotel is where you moving to. You not moving in my house. But it makes me question two things. Either A, the wife knows who the hell Andy is, and she was playing with her by showing up at her job and going through all those emotions and then showing her that ring, knowing damn well what that ring was and who that ring was for. Or B, old boy got a whole lot of shit with him. Now, I ain't figured out which one it is yet. I'm leaning towards the wife knows who she is. Because she gave her a couple of hints. I hired a private investigator. He goes to the gym, but he parks at the apartment across the street. Like, I feel like the wife was giving Ronnie why I want to keep calling her Ron. Anyway, the wife was giving her enough information for her to know, I know who you are, and you need to know that I know who you are. But then on the flip side, what's the end game? But I guess we're going to find out next week. I hope I'm not thinking too deep into this thing, honey. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.